Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Just a couple of new blooms for this video, so a quick one. And I mean a quick one this time too. This Toolinia has just opened, or it's opening I would say. It nearly made it into everything in bloom on the 8th, but not quite. It's still not fully open, but it looks like at least 5 of the buds are going to open together, and then the 2 smaller ones will follow on after a couple of days. This is Toolinia Peach. When this fully opens and gets flat and you can sort of see the colours, it's still one of my favourites. It was one of the first ones I got, I think, or certainly one of the earlier ones, and it's just a lovely pure yellow and deep red now, but it's called Toolinia Peach, so you can guess what's going to happen as the colour starts to change. It develops an orange tinge, certainly around the edges here. You can just see the shadow, yeah? So it does open yellow and deep red, just a two-tone, and then gradually it develops another colour, which is a peachy orange colour. It's a lovely Toolinia, that one. You have to excuse the racket, we've got a bit of a storm blowing at the moment. We're at the bottom end of Storm Eric, I think this one's been called. And the other one that probably will open flatter than that, I would certainly hope so. This is my Brassavola Little Stars, although strictly speaking it might be called something else now. A lot of the Brassavolas have been messed about with, reclassified, which, given that things like Brassavola nodosa and glauca have been put into an awful lot of hybrids in the Cattleya Alliance, they're off. Those two between them are usually the B in a BLC, in a BC, like BC Mackay. Well, if you change their name, the hybrid name gets messed up as well. You know, the Alliance name will be messed up. But these aren't properly open yet, so you can't really see the lip. I must admit, I thought the blooms on Little Stars were bigger than that, but perhaps I should have thought ahead and listened to the name, Little Stars. So it looks like these are small, certainly smaller blooms than nodosa anyway. But there's another 2 spikes to come with a few more blooms. So this one's starting to grow, but it's slow progress. I thought this one was going to take off a bit quicker, but it's just been cold. You know, it's not the time of year. It is growing quite a few new roots. There is activity, and there is one new growth round the back there. But the points at which new growths can come from on this plant are many. There are quite a few leads available for it to push out new growths from. I didn't have the best of root systems on it, but it had some, enough to at least keep it hydrated. But a decent new root system will then aid and abet the new growths as they push on. And I suspect this one will take off when the longer days and the warmer temperatures get going. This isn't a cool grower by any means, so it's not happy at the moment. It's too cold for it, certainly at nights anyway. So yeah, just a couple of new blooms, and I'm still, when you're not 100%, you're not well, you're at your worst first thing in the morning, I've found over the years. Not that I get ill very often, but when it does happen, and it takes a while to work out what you're going to be like for the rest of the day. So it's early in the day at the moment. At the moment, I don't feel like going to the Orchid Society today. So it's quite a long drive, and it'll be a bit of an effort, you know, and it's using up energy levels and things like that. But I want to go. But at the moment, I'm debating whether I ought to, but given that it's this afternoon, I've got all morning to sort of get myself going, if you know what I mean. So I'll probably end up going. I don't feel obliged to go. I haven't got anything specifically as a task today, you know, where I need to be there. I would just be attending as a member today, but I would like to go. I've got a feeling I might be getting 1 or maybe 2 new orchids today. If you remember a while back, I did a swap with the Dracula Pusilla, which had a lot of blooms on it, quite honestly. That was a and I didn't want it, so it was a good swap for me. And the initial part of the swap was a Miltonia, which is actually, you know, need to repot. I'll have to get on with that soon. But the idea was to get another Dracula but the lady in question hadn't divided it yet, so I'm waiting for the division on that. That might turn up today, so it'd be worth going just to get that. I forget what she said it was called, but she said the blooms are as big as the Dracula Bella. It does have incredibly large blooms, so my eyes lit up. I thought we'll have some of that. I must admit I do like the large bloom Draculas, but they are a nuisance for me in my environment. Firstly, obviously in the summer it's going to be a bit warm for them, and the fact that they push their blooms downwards, they've got to go in open baskets, which means keeping them constantly wet is quite difficult, and that's going to be hard work. They're going to be like the mounts in the summer. They're going to have to be watered every single day because they're just in moss and they just dry so quickly because of the open basket. So I just will get one out. Otherwise I could be, you know, I forget sometimes there's new people and they might not know the plant I'm talking about. Where can I stick this where I can, that'll be silhouetted, but it's only a plant, we're not looking at blooms. But, you know, this is the style of the plant, very Masdevallia-like looking leaves. I mean, they are closely related. I think originally Draculas were classified as Masdevallias. They were separated out, but a long time ago. I mean, the plant itself's doing okay. It's pushed up a few new growths. Lots of root activity going on, but I think this basket's a bit small, which is why it's drying so fast. But it does have 2 new spikes coming. So we got 2. They're not far off the same developmental stage. So in theory, they'll both be in bloom together. I think it's just the 2 at the moment. Well, I say just the 2. 2 is good. But it dries so fast. But I think if it was in a similar basket that was twice as big, then it wouldn't dry as fast. So I might have to think about doing that. It hasn't long been potted in this basket, I must admit. But this is the problem with the Draculas. The blooms come out the bottom. So you can't have them in a normal pot. All the spikes can't escape. So they are a bit of a nuisance. But nonetheless, certainly Dracula Bella, it's worth the messing about just to get those blooms. Right, I'll leave it at that for today then. I'll film the little stars and the little Toolinia once the blooms are in full flood, because these have only just opened. I hadn't even noticed because it was on one of the hanging racks with its back to me. So it wasn't until I got it down to water it I realised the buds had opened. So that one could have been in yesterday's Everything in Bloom on the 8th, but I missed it. But we've got it now anyway. And what I'm going to talk about tomorrow morning in the Sunday morning chat, I haven't made my mind up yet, but somebody has given me quite a good suggestion, so I have an idea, which I might run with, I might not. And I'll see you tomorrow. And thanks for dropping by.